Hi, I'm Mary, a librarian and book reviewer with a focus on stories written for kids, tweens, and teens. Today I get to share with you this book called Câmbio, written by Taylor Leahy and illustrated by Ryan Matias. This is the story of a child and a mother and a neighborhood and a city, and everything that happens when that neighborhood is not able to have standard garbage collection because the streets are too narrow. So over time, garbage collects in the streets and the meadow and the creek, and everything becomes a little bit more dangerous because there's a lot of garbage around. So for a child with no shoes, this is an understandably dangerous situation. Luckily, an old man is generous enough to share an old pair of sandals with the child, and the child's world opens up. Everything the child wishes to do is now possible because of the shoes on the child's feet. And as the child and their mother go along collecting the garbage, they are able to then exchange that garbage for bus tokens, which continues to expand the child's worldview. And over time, those bus tokens become a form of currency in the neighborhood. And even though it is adjacent to a larger city, the community that's built around this neighborhood and the fact that everyone is helping to clean up the garbage together builds a sense of community that can't be happening just in a larger city. So as the child is starting to learn more about the world and how the community can work together to keep it safe for everyone, it gives the reader a perspective on the world that is very important as well. This story reads like a modern day fable, so it is designed much like a traditional fable. You have the repeated structure of the story, so as the child is interacting with various characters, you see some parallel structure in the storytelling, and the images take readers back in time a little bit. So there's not as many of the modern conveniences in this particular neighborhood, specifically because it doesn't have the connection to the city that would be expected in a contemporary neighborhood, and with folks walking around with no shoes and things like that. So as the child is going through the story, the child interacting with various characters who are supporting this mission of cleaning up the city and making it more safe for everybody. Also, the story is interesting in the way that it's designed in that there are no specific character names. So you have child, mother, old man, and these are all capitalized, so you know that they are specific people, but they do not have specific names. That gives it an everyman quality, so that no matter where readers are in the world or who they happen to be, they're going to find themselves in the story because of that kind of generic naming convention. So as you're going through the book, you have the longer narrative, but also a lot of illustrations going with it. So definitely the whole story in its entirety is better for readers with a little bit of a longer attention span, but because of the direct nature of the storytelling, younger readers are also going to be able to connect with it even if they don't read it all in one sitting. The illustrations have soft lines, they depict the child and the community in different ways, so sometimes close up, sometimes farther away, depending on what the situation calls for. And readers are going to also find that not only is this story inspiring on its own, but it's based on a true story. So as a historical fiction picture book, it offers readers the opportunity to consider this particular town and how they managed not only the garbage and environmentalism of their community, but also how they built community around a currency that wasn't a traditional form of currency, and it made everything work for them because of the way that it was doled out and because everyone could communicate and could participate in this activity together. The story itself is a really interesting take on environmentalism, on community, and it's an introduction for young readers to historical fiction. And at the end of the book, there is also a longer explanation for older readers in case you want to have a bit of context for the book as you're going along. So great for those preschool-aged readers, especially who have the longer attention span, who like reading fairy tales and fables, and then also be able to connect a modern-day experience to those classic tales. If this sounds like a great fit for you or for someone you know, I hope you look for it wherever you get your books.